We call in creator energy to give thanks for who we are and where we are in these amazing times. This humble assemblage of people has been gathered together for reasons beyond our planning or intent. We find ourselves motivated by an unseen force to tackle the seemingly impossible and right the wrongs perpetrated and perpetuated on the innocent, on all of us, by our satanic nemesis. Our communications are clear, numerous, and relentless. There is no doubt that they are lawful pleas and protestations to those who continue to harm and ignore us. Speaking our intentions and making them known comes with expectations on both sides. Our expectation is to be heard and responded to with the willingness to arrive at a solution beyond compromise. Theirs is to ignore or block in the hope we will just go away in the frustration and futility of it all. We will to honor thy will, for which we are assembled. We choose to pour our spirit, heart, and soul into the work we are here and called to do. We are small, yet we are one, and one with the all that is, to call out injustice, cruelty, abuse, and complacency. While those we call out expect their monthly checks and retirement packages, we expect and are invested here and now in our future and that of our children for generations. These are our expectations. We do this not for money, but for utilizing our gifts you gave for these ends for which we have been chosen. Let it be so, and so it is. My name is Charlie White. I constructed a letter in response to a conversation, and I'm just going to read this letter, which was addressed to Steve Lippold, attorney in the state of Oregon, Office of Attorney General, and also a letter to Shelley Hoffman, who is the Director for Risk Management here on Oregon. To Steve Lippold, opening oneself to a different perception and role than they are accustomed to can be difficult for some and impossible for many. This is what is being asked of you in the message that follows. Our nation has known many coups and upheavals that are visible to the public. All the while, our nation has been gradually and insidiously infiltrated by an array of entities vying for position and power, which serve to fracture, confuse, and undermine the integrity of governance to the point of undermining and even compromising the integrity of those who govern. Looking into history, true history, shows us how far we have moved away from the beginnings of self-reliance, care for our neighbors and community, civics, personal integrity, integrity and justice, and moral ethics. Insidious acts have peppered our history, which brings us to the threshold of near collapse and a bankruptcy in every institution, education, medicine and health, politics and governance, the media, currency and finance, and on and on. In a nutshell, our nation was established as a republic and founded on the basis of common law, the laws of nature and of nature's God. The Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union, adopted by the Continental Congress on November 15, 1777, served only the states. So the Constitution of the United States of America intended to represent a compact between the people and the states. While most people speak of the Constitution, mostly it is the Bill of Rights that they are referring to. That provides a refining to the more common folk and to what matters in our daily sense of well-being. It is broad in its interpretation, yet non-punitive, and provides simple guidance, not unlike the Ten Commandments. When combining the Constitution of the United States of America with the Bill of Rights, it is a document that has been crafted to provide reference and guidance unlike any other on the planet. It is a treasure to be held dear. Fast forward to circa 1871, when the Constitution began as statutory in nature, while initially maintaining common law. Enter the bankers with their Great Depression, and soon thereafter the attorney associations and their infiltration into every business, boardroom, and institution, referred to as legal, and where common law and the people got ousted from their land, soil, jurisdiction, along with their unalienable rights. Article 3 establishes a one supreme, and that's with a lowercase s, court of record. When combined with Amendment 7, in suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. This is where our jurisdiction stands. Civilian, people, men and women with their progeny on the land and soil. Common law, without judges, without statutes and ordinances. The de jure, a legal concept that refers to what happens according to law and equity. It's actually a lawful concept. This is in contrast to de facto, Latin from the fact, which is used to refer to what happens in practice or in reality. For example, a de jure leader has the lawful right to authority over a jurisdiction, but a de facto leader is someone who exerts authority without holding the legal right to do so. The term de jure is often used in lawful as well as legal matters to distinguish a proper standard from de facto practice. This is opposition to your admiralty, law of the sea, de facto, color of law, that is both illegal and illegitimate. See Black's Law, 5th edition. Our Article 1, Section 1 social compact has been formed for over 6 years, since June 2018, and continues to work to educate and inform you de facto folks that your system is acting as foreign agents, FARA, on our land and soil jurisdiction, and treating us as if we are cash cows for the corrupt, the criminals, the wealthy and ultra-wealthy, both foreign and domestic. As the provisional government on Oregon since 2022, our Assembly, our Social Compact, and our Article 3, Amendment 7, One Supreme Civilian Common Law Court of Record has exhausted our patience with your arrogance and ignorance of us as a people whose unalienable rights are tirelessly trammeled and ignored to death. Your fraudulent courts, RICO, persons acting as judges, attorneys as foreign agents, FARA, acting with the corrupted courts that profit you all more than handsomely with your CRIS, that is CRIS system, that leeches from every unsuspecting client or case your Leos drag into court. It is all coming to a screeching halt, with your system falling and failing due to the sheer weight of its corruption and blight. We have informed you, we have demanded, we have attempted conversations, sent emails, we have served you well-styled instruments with proof of service, and we have been denied serving you on several occasions. Your time is up, and we are now in the process of following up on our grand jury decision to hold an arraignment and petite jury trial, addressing due process violations owed to each of the offenses to each of our many assembly members for your failure of due process and for your denying us assistance of unfettered counsel for our people in many cases and situations. While she did listen to our appeal on a phone call, Shelley Hoffman expressed that she has no regard for us in our jurisdiction and that we should appeal to you, Steve, for authentication of our jurisdiction. This is absurd. Send it to legal. I call up the Chevron deference, that you are not any more authoritative nor have any more power than another person. nor that you in your profession more than the people. Be informed that we have returned Oregon, just as the nation is in the process of returning the United States of America, to a constitutional Republican form of government as guaranteed in the Constitution of the United States of America circa 1859, an American common law form of self-governance, and where foreign agents acting as authorities will be disregarded or even banished for the harm done to people who simply wish to live healthy, happy lives, free of the excess of graft and corruption we refuse to further endure. As counsel for Shelley, a response is required. This is written on behalf of the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, the de jure Provisional Government on Oregon, mailed to Steve Lippold, State of Oregon Office of Attorney General, Shelley Hoffman, Director of Risk Management, and Cheryl Myers, Deputy Secretary of State. Thank you. Article 1, Section 1 of Oregon's Constitution, Natural Rights Inherent in People. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is a catch-up for the assembly. We've been moving right along and haven't made one of these in a while. Where it stands right now on the group of 10 true bills that the grand jury gave us. The first one is the direct challenge by the Oregon Department of Corrections to our court that their top 3 executives involved would not obey a writ of habeas corpus ad subjiciendum, and then they would not obey a writ of mandamus. So those 3 men are going to be tried soon. I think we decided the date was the 23rd in Salem. Yeah, the 23rd of September in Salem. So that's one thing. The other thing is we have found due process violations everywhere. They wantonly disguise, they don't even disguise, they just break the Constitution and their oath whenever they wish. So we have 89 legislators, and Kate Brown, Ron Wyden, Jeff Merkley, and Suzanne Bonamici to make that, is it 93? We have 93 violations of just once of all of those people. And the violation was against Oregonian men and women in the de jure jurisdiction of men and women, and that was the verdict of our Article 3, Amendment 7 court. So logically and legally and lawfully speaking, let's just make an assumption that there are 1 million. No, there are 100,000 Oregonian men and women that whose rights and due process was affected by what those 93 individuals did. And if their due process was violated and a court hears it and makes a decision, well, then the penalty is written out in 18 USC 3571. It says $250,000 for each violation. Well, 100,000 members, all with just one violation. But now remember, they got 93 violations. So then 100,000 times 93 times. Oh my God. $930,000 times $250,000 per penalty. And all of that we have to present to Oregon Risk Management, which I did. Her name is Shelley Hoffman. And nice lady, I've spoken to her before. But Shelley says, Ron, I don't recognize your court. Well, that's a problem. How do you resolve your legal problems? And she says, oh, we have an attorney, and that's at the Oregon Department of Justice. So they have one. Okay, who's your counsel? And she says, Steve Leipold or Lippold, the number 2 guy there. He was recently chastised. Charlie found that. Good job, Charlie. So anyhow, Steve is the legal representative for the Office of Director of Risk Management, which is a subdivision of DAS, Division of Administrative Services, I believe. So all of that comes down to the state of Oregon, the incompetent, de facto, illegal corporate entity that's running the Salem oligarchy, that bunch, is going to be represented by Steve Leipold. This is going to be really interesting. We might need to show up with maybe 150 people and talk to them about things. So I brought this to Shelley's attention, Hoffman, because I told her we're going to have upcoming 3 new ones in addition to all those we already have found guilty and haven't started pressing a claim yet. But we have 3 brand new ones that are coming at you, and we're going to start claims on all 3. And she says, no, you're not until you can run this past Steve Leipold. So here we go. That's one. So that's going on with the Oregon Department of Justice. At the same time, we're going to be trying these 3 guys on the 23rd of this month, I believe. And I think we've already established a date in October when we're going to try the sheriffs. Now, every single sheriff on Oregon, and many of those that have left, and not one of the current crop has a proper oath to the proper constitutions with the laws of nature and nature's God included. None of them, 0. So we have no sheriff on Oregon, not one. And the ones that like to say they're constitutional sheriffs, they're not. They're liars. So we do not have a lawful entity with a proper oath on Oregon. We just don't. There's not one single lawful, constitutional, de jure representative in our representative form of government on Oregon. Not one. That's 100% efficient. There's almost nothing that's that good. The district attorneys, who are the most crooked, fixed, anyhow, they're only running in the high 90s, but they got this one to 100%. You want to know what else is 100%? We've had 9 grand juries, and 100% of the time they have found true bills. That's a pretty good average. Real stuff. So This that's what a copy of what has been served to the Oregon Department of Corrections. This is coming from the grand jury to the court and for the court to resolve. And the court is in the process of resolving. It takes one of our clerks, and we have 12, and any 3 members of our Jural Assembly to have a court. We have 36 sheriffs without one single oath. So we're going to need one court 36 times, or we're going to need 36 courts or some form in between, so that we have a proper court with a clerk to receive the word and the written oath, signed, sealed, stamped, witnessed, proof of service, and published. Proper from each one of the sheriffs. So this is a recruitment effort. We need a whole bunch more people that are ready to go down and confront the sheriff's office, probably multiple times, look them in the eye and demand they do their job. They will fold. They may not fold the first time, but they will fold. They can't support it. Evil always falls when confronted by good, every time. So those sheriffs that don't think they're supporting evil when they support the Salem oligarchy, when they rethink it and take a proper oath, then we have a proper sheriff to do the jobs. Now, there's 10 other items besides sheriff, 8 other items besides sheriff and the Department of Corrections. 5 of those 8 involve the sheriff. 5G. That's controversial as hell. And there is no evidence to support that it's not injurious to humans. You see what Robert Kennedy came up with just the other day? He won his suit about cell phones too close to the head. Yeah. So if cell phones are not that good for you close to your head, wonder how good they are for kids that get one in preschool and lug it around for the rest of their life, which will probably be much shorter as they are trying to vaccinate all of them. And sheriffs come in again and again and again to enforce. They sell somebody's home or farm for non-payment of taxes. Now, how in the hell do they find that they have the authority to do something like that? Turn somebody out because they can't pay their taxes? No. If there's a lawful suit, you can settle it at probate. You don't turn somebody out. That's just not the way. But that's the way they want to do it. They want to evict people and put them homeless on the street. For mortgage companies that do not have due process in hand and cannot support their loan agreements. So there's a lot of problems with sheriffs, and sheriffs is going to be coming up in October. We're going to have to stir the pot heartily between now and then in all the counties, because each county has a sheriff, some more so than others. All of this is published at www.orsja.org. And I think I've about covered it for sheriffs. I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.